Hi there, my name is Carrie Collins, and this is my vlog, I guess, of how I've become a teacher and why I chose to become a teacher. So, first of all, in my history, God has always put me in positions of where I'm teaching or leading, and that's been ever since probably junior high. Whether it was being a section leader in my choir or being a high school kid, hosting a workshop for younger children and teaching them singing and dancing, or being the staging director for the Young Americans National Music Outreach Tours and working with third through college age kids sometimes throughout the United States. And then once I was married, my husband and I, we were having difficulty kind of finding our path of our career choice, and God just continued to funnel us into the educational profession, and we found ourselves as specialty teachers up at a Christian school in Seattle, Washington. And that's actually a good story because while I'd worked with a lot of age groups, I was primarily with a lot of high school kids. I forgot, I also taught choreography for local show choirs in our area. So I was very comfortable with working with junior high and high school kids. And when I was up in Seattle, the administration had placed me as an elementary music teacher, which I thought, oh, okay, that's no big deal. I've worked a little with the younger kids, on the National Music Outreach Tours with the Young Americans. And my very first kindergarten class arrived at my door for 50 minutes of music instruction, and I was eaten alive by this kindergarten class. And I had no class control whatsoever, and I hadn't had children of my own yet, and I think I was only like 24, and because it was a private school, there was no requirement for credentialing or education because I was a specialty teacher. So I could come in and teach, the electives. And so anyway, I begged my administration. I said, listen, if you love children, if you really care about these kids, you will not have me work with elementary age students, and instead I'll take junior high all day. I will work with junior high kids as much as you want. And my administration said, nope, we're not going to do that. You need to enjoy the process of learning how to work with elementary kids. So every prep period that I had any free time, I went to Miss Dixon's kindergarten classroom because Miss Dixon she had a very healthy respect from her students, and she clearly loved them. And I remember her telling me, Carrie, you do not understand your God-given authority. You don't understand it. God has placed you here for this time to be the teacher of these children, and you don't get it. So anyway, I basically made her be my mentor. I didn't ask her, and I just rode her coattails all over campus. And I went to a few other teachers too, but I was really looking up to Miss Dixon. And at the end of 3 years there, teaching at that Christian school, I could get 100 first graders to do anything I wanted them to do. And they were so sweet. And that's where I learned the importance of building a relationship with children and their families. And I just remember my third year going, man, I could not do this 2 years ago. And I was so grateful to God for, first of all, for some reason, giving me favor with the administration. They didn't fire me, and that they saw that I could eventually learn how to do that job. And that did show resiliency on my part. That was like the next section I would cover. That was a part in my life where it did require resiliency because they held my feet to the fire. They were not going to reassign me to junior high or high school. I did have those classes as well. I did still teach junior high and high school, but they were not going to release me of my elementary general music and creative movement and whatever else I taught during those 3 years there. So after that, I became a mom, and I really learned to love children by the students that I had up in Seattle. And it really helped. It taught me the importance of discipline, and it really set me up to be a good mom. as best as I know how. And so my kids were well behaved, and I just thought, oh my gosh, had I not been a teacher, I don't know that my kids would have been as well trained for the things that they needed to be trained for to be successful. And even now, I have a 16-year-old. She's in charge of her own education. I check in on her, but I'm not responsible. She meets with her own facilitator. I've really, she's done good being autonomous, and so has my middle child. So we'll see how it goes from there. And then let's see, my final section. Oh, yeah, I know that I'm going to have to maintain resiliency as I'm going in. I currently teach now as a second and third grade teacher, but I'm on independent study. Next year, I'll go back to in-person, and that'll be my first full year again, being back in the classroom, because I haven't done that since 2006. So I'm sure I'm going to be rusty, but I just look to God. I just pray. I've noticed that even now, even in independent study, if I just ask God to help me be the teacher that my kids need, and the lessons, I can't take any credit for it. He will have me do a right turn in my lesson plans, and the kids and I will end up having so much fun building levers or any sort of scientific thing. Sometimes it will go into science, or we'll do things with math. So praise God for that. A big reason that I've become a teacher, obviously, number one, I just think kids are the best people on the planet, and that's who I want to spend my life with, are with children. But the second reason is for the cultural injustices. I see a need to be an encourager to our families who are caught in in systematic racism. And my job is to be an encourager and to be uplifting these families, and providing the support and the backing and the resources, anything that I know how to help these families and their children, and just create some social change. So that is a big part of my calling, and I know that that's how God's going to work through me, is just being an extension of His love, and also using me to be a lover of justice and to stand for things that are right. That's it. Thank you so much.